Ethan of the Williams family was notoriously lazy. I spotted the business opportunity and emerged victorious from a sea of competitors, becoming his personal errand runner throughout college. Eventually, those errands led us straight to bed. Our 2-year relationship left all the naysayers gaping as they watched the supposed Cinderella story unfold. Everyone thought I'd officially upgraded my social status by clinging to his coattails. Yet right before graduation, I dropped the bombshell I was breaking up with him. Ethan's composed facade cracked for the first time. Give me one good reason. I sighed. It's exhausting always being on top every time. And your thermal underwear during winter? Absolute nightmare to remove. 5 years later, I returned from overseas and landed a marketing VP position at the Taylor family's corporate headquarters. My first project involved coordinating a crossover campaign between the Taylors and Williams conglomerates. During team prep meetings, colleagues who'd previously worked with the Williams Group commiserated. Mr. Williams is an absolute tyrant about details. Last campaign, he rejected 14 different proposals. One groaned, massaging their temples. I've already lit incense at the temple for this round. Another muttered. I maintained my professional smile while memories resurfaced. Ethan's fastidiousness was legendary, demanding 47 degrees Celsius precision in his coffee orders, military punctual class reminders, and chef-curated meals delivered within strict 15-minute windows. Yet calling him workaholic? Doubtful. Our 2 years together revealed different truths: the boy who couldn't be bothered to attend lectures, who loathed social gatherings, who even during intimacy would rather delegate physical exertion. My true advantage in becoming his premium errand runner? Anticipating needs he couldn't articulate, color coordinating his outfits, sanitizing surfaces before his touch, even grinding through his video game levels. Now, preparing to face him in the Williams Group's sleek conference room, I straightened my blazer. The elevator doors parted to reveal Ethan leaning against the hallway, Armani suit hugging his frame like second skin. His gaze raked over me with new intensity before suddenly pushing me into an empty lounge, door locking with a decisive click. 5 years. His breath ghosted over my neck as he crowded me against the sofa. Calloused fingers found familiar pathways under my pencil skirt. You'll find I've developed self-sufficiency in certain areas. The low purr against my collarbone betrayed years of pent-up frustration. Shall we test that theory tonight? Don't expect him to carry the exhausted heroine to the shower like those romantic novel protagonists. Most times, I practically need a forklift to drag him into the tub. Ethan is perpetually freezing. By winter, he bundles up in so many layers he resembles an onion. We stumbled from the doorway to the living room, shedding his puffer jacket, sweaters, thermal shirts, and heated vest before tackling his trousers, long johns. By the time I finished peeling him, I was drenched in sweat. The day I proposed breaking up, I casually suggested he take charge for once. He sprawled across the bed, shooting me a sidelong glance. Weren't you the one preaching about how controlling the tempo makes it better? I swallowed my retort and resignedly yanked his pants off, bitterly accepting my lifelong curse of being the designated initiator. Our final night together, I went wild. The moment we got out of bed, I dropped the breakup bomb. Ethan froze, his expression turning glacial for the first time in our relationship. Give me one good reason. Leaning against the doorframe, I sighed. Being on top every single time is exhausting. Also, wrestling you out of thermal underwear during winter should be an Olympic sport. After endless silence, he hurled a pillow at me with venomous precision. Get out! The words vibrated with suppressed fury. I obliged. Didn't see him for 5 years. During the project briefing with Williams Corp's liaison, she grimaced apologetically. Ms. Brown, we'll need to add another participant to this meeting. Standard procedure for high-stakes deals. I nodded. 30 minutes later, the office door swung open. Rising with the crowd, My gaze traveled upward from polished Oxfords, past the black bespoke suit clinging to newly honed muscles radiating rugged sophistication, until I locked eyes with living proof that karma's a bitch. Mr. Williams. The room chorused. Those once sleepy eyes now cut like obsidian blades. Our shared glance lasted precisely 1.5 corporate-approved seconds before he checked his watch. Voice roughened from back-to-back meetings. Proceed. An assistant handed him documents while I launched into the pitch, mentally mourning the colleague who'd wasted incense at the temple last week. Should have saved your prayers, buddy. The real shock came when Ethan barely challenged our proposal. After minimal feedback, he dismissed us. My team exchanged bewildered looks. That's it? Guess the Ice Prince thawed today? Someone whispered. I stuffed the presentation materials, ignoring how his cologne still carried wintergreen notes from our university days. I quipped. Don't celebrate too soon. The real headache's coming. The project manager walked us out just as Ethan stepped off the elevator. Beside him stood his childhood friend Emily. Emily had always been tactful. When Ethan and I were dating, she cheerfully called me sis without ever crossing boundaries. You'd never guess she harbored feelings for him. That changed during our senior year at the Hot Springs Resort. She pulled me into the bath with saccharine sweetness. Lauren. She cooed. You do realize Ethan and I are getting engaged after graduation? Her velvet voice dripped poison. You think love conquers all? That's fairy tale nonsense. Even commoners marry within their social class, let alone wealthy families. People trade value. I bring connections. What do you offer? Money? Influence? Her manicured finger traced the water's surface. If I were you, I'd cash out and leave while I still could. That's what a smart person would do. Clever girl, the location prevented recordings. I smiled slowly. If you're so confident, why not wait us out? What's got you sweating now? Her mask slipped briefly. Could it be, you're threatened by how he feels about me? Her smile hardened. Girlfriends come and go. Childhood bonds last forever. She tilted her head mockingly. How can you be sure he's saying Lauren, or Emily? I stood, water cascading off me. We use full names. Actually, I broke up with him later not because of Emily, but because Ethan never factored into my future plans. Ironically, I agreed with her arguments. When he suggested meeting his parents, I panicked and fled. He'd hugged me carelessly that night. Relax. It'll be fine. My heart sank. Easy for him to say, the golden boy who'd never faced real consequences. But I'd be the social, climbing gold digger in their eyes. The sparrow they could crush. Rich boys play at love, marriage is business. I trust actions, not empty promises. The manager followed my gaze and smirked. That's our partner's heiress. She visits Mr. Williams often. She lowered her voice conspiratorially. Rumor says they're announcing engagement soon. Gorgeous couple, right? Ethan's stern expression softened as he looked at Emily, whose eyes sparkled with barely contained joy. I turned away. Very compatible. MS. Brown. His icy voice stopped me at the exit. I turned smoothly. Professional smile in place. Mr. Williams? How can I help you? His gaze lingered. All boardroom politeness. We should discuss the merger terms. I have a dinner meeting scheduled with your president Sophia tonight. You should join us, he said casually. There are a few details we need to discuss. So this was his game. I maintained composure. Guess I'll shamelessly crash this executive gathering then. His chuckle carried hidden meaning. Emily's composure faltered when our eyes met. Her mask of control nearly slipping. Interesting. The engagement negotiations must be hitting snags. I nodded at her with deliberate warmth. Ethan didn't repeat his ride offer this time. My BMW trailed his Bugatti to a members-only private kitchen I knew well. The irony bit during my delivery gig years. I'd frequently used his membership card to fetch orders from this no-takeout establishment. My working relationship with Sophia extended beyond professional courtesy, making this elite gathering less awkward. Surprisingly, Ethan refrained from his usual wine-pushing or subtle humiliations, treating this as, just dinner? President Lauren. Someone as stunning must have admirers lining up? Ryan drawled, leaning across the table with a smirk. Planning to play matchmaker. Ryan? I deflected. He perked up, finger pointing at himself. How about giving this guy a chance? Sophia shot him a warning look. Ryan, rein in your Playboy act. I'm serious this time. He protested. Truth is, I've been smitten since the thud of crystal against mahogany silenced him. All eyes turned to Ethan. That fleeting intensity in his gaze felt familiar, though he quickly checked his watch. We should wrap up. As chairs scraped back, a previously silent observer suddenly brightened. You're that lifestyle vlogger. Now it makes sense Ethan's your die-hard fan. Caught him replaying your enough. Ethan's mild rebuke came too late. He turned to me smoothly. Ignore his nonsense. Honestly, I'm flattered. I managed. His lips twitched. Let me drive you home, Lauren. When I hesitated, he deployed his standard line, we should finalize those project details. Of course. Sophia stepped between us. Can't this wait? I patted her shoulder resignedly. Better settle things while Mr. Williams has time. Entering Ethan's car, I caught fragments of his friend's whispers behind us. Ryan, the trust fund kid, snapped angrily. No wonder he wouldn't let me hit on her. Probably wants her for himself. Huh? Ethan does seem off lately. But this Lauren, she looks familiar. Where have I seen her before? As Ethan's realization dawned with an O, my heart leaped into my throat. Isn't that Ethan's first love? Sophia blurted. What? The car door slammed shut, muffling the outside world. Ethan's chauffeur led the way in my vehicle while I reluctantly took the passenger seat beside him. The suffocating silence between us thickened until I cracked open the window, letting night air dilute the tension. Memories flooded back from the party comment. During college, I'd built a following through productivity vlogs when the niche was still fresh. Sponsorships padded my savings nicely. Ethan once sprawled on the couch watching my videos, perplexed. Where do you get this endless energy? I'd mumbled. Maybe I'm just a high-energy person? Lie. It was always about the hustle. He'd studied me while lazily ruffling his hair. Hey, want a date? I panicked. Being his errand runner paid decently. Becoming his girlfriend sounded like unpaid emotional labor. If you're looking for a housekeeper, Ethan snorted. Is being my girlfriend that terrible? He promised double the pay with no extra work. More study time sealed the deal. Thus began our 2-year arrangement of convenience. The red light lingered. As our neighborhood approached, I ventured. Ethan. His long fingers tapped the steering wheel, abruptly cutting me off. Did you ever think about me these 5 years? I froze. Of course I had. Late at night when I had downtime, I'd occasionally miss his physical presence. His gaze swept over me like tactile scrutiny, exposing every hidden thought. I swallowed hard. After an eternity, his lips curved in confirmation. Good. Before I could question him, his mint-cool lips crashed against mine, shattering years of distance. Forgotten sensations roared back with violent intensity. The 90-second light stretched agonizingly until green illuminated our ragged breaths. As the chauffeur's taillights disappeared ahead, Ethan swerved left off route, accelerating into the night. I was furious but didn't dare grab the steering wheel. Ethan, where the hell are you taking me? My place. Why are we going to your place? To see the results. His tone remained steady, completely unbothered. I snapped, letting out a bitter laugh. Does your fiancé know you're tangled up with your ex? The car slid into the underground garage. Only then did he turn with that infuriating half-smile. What fiancé? All I know is my girlfriend called me lazy. Abandoned me to go abroad for 5 years. Today. His arms tightened around me as he carried me toward the elevator, ignoring my kicks and bites. I'm taking back what's mine. Ethan even chuckled when I tried gnawing his wrist. Remember what you did to me on that bed? Being thrown onto the familiar plush mattress dragged memories to the surface with his words, handcuffs, whips, restraints. That ridiculous uniform. Our last night together. I'd gone all out thinking it was our finale. Ethan had staggered to the shower covered in red marks, legs nearly giving out. Now seeing the unchanged bedroom, I scooted backward. What do you want? He leisurely removed his jacket, undid his tie and cuffs. The dim light caught his defined chest as he knelt over me, straddling my thighs with predatory ease, dragging me closer by the ankles. His palm found that sensitive spot above my tailbone. Aren't you going to check my progress, Lauren? His thumb pressed deliberately, making me shiver. Ethan raised his hand, a faint glint of moisture catching the light at this angle. Remember now? The polite facade melted, revealing his true mischievous nature. Oh, I remembered. I yanked his hair and bit his lip. Tomorrow was Saturday anyway. What happens when two perfectly matched bodies reunite after years? Chemical reactions. Explosive. Unstoppable ones. We moved from bed to shower tiles to living room couch, the swaying curtains framing the dawn light. I'd never seen Ethan this hardworking in my life. My throat felt shredded, weakly pushing his shoulder. I croaked. Get off. He pulled me tighter. Whatever. Drifting off to the ache in my core. I barely registered his hands massaging my lower back hours later. From now on, he mumbled into my neck. I'll do all the work. You just lie back and enjoy. Deal? I shoved him away to sit up. We'll see. The fleeting tension in Ethan's expression almost made me smile. What do you mean? I don't have any plans to get back together right now. He processed this for a moment before letting out a bitter laugh. Lauren, are you messing with me? I looked at him in genuine surprise. Weren't you the one who invited me to evaluate your performance? This was consensual. Are you trying to scam me now? Ethan stood there shirtless, bite marks scattered across his torso, watching coldly as I methodically dressed. After a prolonged silence, he gritted out through clenched teeth, fine. Hope to see you again next time. Valued customer. Even with years of social maneuvering hardening my composure, his retort nearly threw me off balance. I declined his offer to drive me home and left alone. Sophia had texted last night asking me to call when free. I knew exactly what she wanted to discuss. After briefly explaining the situation, she chuckled darkly. Aren't you worried about retaliation? His methods aren't exactly gentle. I smiled. He won't. When we'd broken up years ago, I'd been certain he couldn't be bothered to chase me across the globe. This was the man who took 30 minutes just to leave his apartment. No way he'd follow me to England. Our recent unexpected reunion had shown a changed man, though his proactive efforts to relieve my tension while maintaining professional decorum proved surprising, even extending that open-ended invitation. How dangerous could such consideration really be? True to expectations, our collaborative project progressed smoothly over the following months. Strictly professional during work hours, yet remarkably accommodating after hours. When we finally wrapped up the intensive phase, I announced to the team the campaign outperformed all projections. Dinner's on me tonight. Cheers erupted through the office. You're the best. Lauren. The previously anxious team member sighed in relief. That temple visit really worked. I need to go back and give offerings. We settled on a popular seafood buffet. Mid-meal, I excused myself to the restroom and collided with someone familiar. Sorry, Lauren? My sister Emily stood before me. All saccharine smiles. You're back in the country and didn't tell us? What do you want? I kept my tone neutral. Her gaze slid toward our banquet table. Heard you're doing well these days. Must be nice. Treating all these people. Her smile sharpened. Of course. With your influencer income? Money's no object. I crossed my arms. Get to the point. Mom's been having back problems. She adopted a wounded tone. It's cruel. Really, your own mother suffering while you flaunt wealth. What would your followers think if they knew how you treat family? So, you're trying to ask me for money? How much? Lauren casually smoothed her bangs, feigning innocence. It's not for me. It's to support our parents. Since their cold-hearted eldest daughter won't care for them, someone has to step up. I looked at her and chuckled slowly. If you're so concerned about them, why don't you get a part-time job instead of spending their hard-earned money on luxury outings every other day? Her composure cracked. Don't change the subject. We're not the same. Of course we're not. Through her eyes, I saw my younger self reflected. I was the left-behind child while you were their precious golden girl coddled since birth. You declared older sisters should be self-sufficient and I lost my allowance overnight. You wanted privacy so I got a cot in the living room. Not an ounce of remorse showed. Only defensive anger. Why hold grudges over childhood nonsense? Mom and Dad worry about you constantly. Adjusting my collar, I countered. Who says I don't care? I've been watching you very closely all these years. My gaze shifted to the approaching figure. Isn't that the trust fund kid you're obsessed with? A cocky guy lit up when he saw me. You're Lauren's voice, right? My sister loves your channel. Can we get a selfie? Sure. I smiled, noticing his obliviousness to our relationship as he handed his phone to Lauren. Her chalk-white face contorted into a grotesque smile, producing blurry photos. Can't even take decent pictures? He complained, walking off without waiting for her. Leaning close, I whispered, seems your sugar baby isn't that into you. Imagine if he knew about your little extortion scheme, or if your followers saw how you bully family. I tapped my phone. Being a content creator means always recording material like our earlier conversation and your tantrums at home. Her face drained of color as I continued. Never threaten what you can't afford to lose. I strode toward the restrooms, pausing when I sensed familiar presence. Ethan stood frozen nearby, his dark eyes unreadable. He'd heard everything. Throughout our relationship, I'd carefully crafted my online persona, the bubbly optimist with loving parents. Your family must adore you, he'd often say, and I'd laugh it off. The truth? I grew up as a forgotten rural child raised by my fiery grandmother. When city-bound parents had Lauren, I became obsolete. They stopped sending money when Grandma's vegetable patch became our lifeline. Now Ethan knew the girl who joked about avocado toast privilege actually understood hunger. Knew the influencer radiating sunshine had clawed her way up from dirt floors. His gaze held centuries of unasked questions as my perfectly curated world cracked open. During the toughest times, I threatened to drop out and work odd jobs. She gave me a good beating. Manual labor earns pennies. I'm breaking my back to educate you so you'll buy me a big house in the city someday. I vowed to become extraordinary, promising her a life of envy. But Grandma's luck ran thin. She fell ill before witnessing my success. I begged door to door for medical funds, while the 3 children she raised played hot potato with responsibility. She's lived long enough. They called it a blessed departure. When I knelt begging my parents for help, their designer clothes contradicted their poverty claims. Grandma's final words clung to me, Lauren. Trust only yourself. I've swallowed every hardship since. Perhaps when society deems me successful, I'll post a triumphant video titled Not Embarrassment. But my origin story. I crave admiration. not pity. Books and roads shall be my weapons against suffering. I'm the quintessential woman, the embodiment of femininity. Ethan and I strolled the lakeshore. He ignored my earlier conversation with Song Xin, resurrecting old grievances instead. Was lacking a sense of security why you dumped me? His self-reflection surprised me. No point lying now. The wealth gap made me feel powerless. Until I build my own safety net. No amount of reassurance helps. The realization came from something trivial. Watching Xinjiang travel vlogs, my dream destination, I casually suggested visiting. He drawled. Overrated. Seen one grassland? Seen them all. Try suffocating yourself with plastic wrap for the altitude experience. That's when it crystallized. His privileged passport had stamped every postcard vista. My bucket list contained his been there done that locations. Our worlds never aligned. Separation was inevitable. I must experience life firsthand. My destiny spans stars and oceans. Maybe I'll eventually scoff at tourist traps too, but only after leaving footprints there. The autumn wind rippled the lake. Sudden chill raising goosebumps. I faced him squarely. Ethan. I never showed insecurity. But it's like wearing triple layers in winter. Everyone sees composure. Only you feel the mess hidden underneath. His expression cycled through compassion. Confusion. Then stone-cold fury. Veins pulsed at his temples. Lauren. Must you bring up that incident? I told you 1,000 times I didn't shit my pants. You force-fed me experimental cuisine, then dragged me to that godforsaken forest during a blizzard. He paused mid-rant. Eyes narrowing dangerously. Wait. Was insecurity just the excuse? You actually found me repulsive? I batted my lashes. It really was insecurity. Though his stiff walk at the time was genuinely suspicious. Ethan sneered. You really don't trust me one bit. Do you? Of course I do. I changed the subject. Did you put your long johns back on? His gaze dropped as he awkwardly stepped back. Voice turning frosty. It's not like you'll be taking them off. Why do you care? I sighed. Staying warm is important. Ethan suddenly gripped my wrist. His dark eyes burning with solemn intensity. Lauren. I know you don't believe my feelings for you are real or lasting. Your reluctance to be vulnerable is valid. My past failures that made you doubt me are also valid. That's why I want you to give me this chance. I blinked. My voice unexpectedly hoarse when I asked. What chance? A chance to reevaluate where this relationship could go. Lauren. Just keep following your path. Don't worry, I'll catch up and match your pace. After long moments, I slowly nodded. Okay. Weeks later, Sophia organized a hiking trip. We'd bonded over mountain trails during our time abroad. She added me to the group chat with the usual crowd from previous gatherings. Ryan immediately pounced when I joined. Lauren's here. Does that mean Mr. Williams will grace us? Another member replied, asked already. Ethan said he's busy. Ryan snorted, busy my ass. Tell him Lauren's coming and watch him sprint here. Funny, Ethan hated hiking more than anything. Yet within seconds, Sophia added Ethan to the chat. Ryan sent a grinning emoji, look who's whipped. On departure day, our group had expanded with friends of friends, including Emily. Nobody batted an eye. Her crush on Ethan had always been expertly concealed. Undetectable even to childhood friends. Our eyes briefly met through the crowd. Her lips curling in a provocative smirk. Here to annoy me specifically. Perfect, this hike just got entertaining. Ethan materialized beside me, tilting his head. Why didn't you invite me? I raised an eyebrow. What exactly is our relationship? He silently snatched my backpack, forcing us to stick together. 2 hours later at the summit, I instinctively pulled out my phone to photograph the stunning view. Turning around, I found Ethan framing me in his camera lens. He shadowed my every move, drawing astonished stares from Sophia's group. Jesus. Did aliens replace our Ethan? Someone marveled. Dude who used to hibernate now follows his girl like a puppy. Who says love ruins people? This is an upgrade. All right. Time to go cuddle my own girlfriend. Another laughed. Wandering off. Ethan remained unfazed, casually intercepting whenever Emily tried approaching me. His hand kept finding the small of my back, warmth bleeding through our jackets each time our shoulders brushed. Winter sunlight gilded his profile as he wordlessly handed me his scarf, calloused fingers lingering against mine a heartbeat too long. Below us, Emily's frustrated huff carried clearly on the crisp mountain air. Being gawked at like monkeys at a zoo finally made my cheeks burn despite my usual composure. I shoved his chest. Would you stop following me around? The 6'3" wall of muscle remained rooted like marble. His usual tailored suits replaced by outdoor gear that resurrected his college-era recklessness. Since when did I lose sidewalk privileges? His smirk widened as Emily's frozen expression reflected in my peripheral vision. I veered into a hiking trail, camera in hand. Ethan matched my steps like a shadow. He produced a DSLR from nowhere, shaking it temptingly. Picked up photography these past years. Want some pro shots? My retort died instantly. Well, who could resist Instagram-worthy content? Dusk painted the sky when we checked our group chat. They went ahead to the base, I announced. We turned back only to find Emily waiting exactly where we'd left her. Eyes rimmed red. Ethan. Her fragile whisper carried decades of longing. You hurt? His brows knitted. She nodded, blinking tearfully at me. Twisted ankle. Can't walk. What should we do? Sis? The trap snapped shut, forcing me to offer Ethan as her pack mule. My ex's face lit up at the sis address. Cold laughter bubbled in my throat as I feigned panic. Wait. You've got this wrong. Ethan and I broke up ages ago. Aren't you two practically engaged? Shouldn't the groom carry his bride? The verbal grenade detonated beautifully. Emily blanched. Ethan's jaw clenched. Who started that lie? My gasp dripped honeyed malice. Your whole company's been shipping you too. Emily's constant visits, such perfect matches. I totally ship you both. He shot me that exasperated look I knew too well. Emily only comes for work matters. You know exactly who I. The unspoken name hung between us, shattering Emily's last composure. Next time call instead, Ethan said coldly. Footsteps approached as he grabbed my hand. Ryan's coming to carry you down. Thanks, Ethan, Emily whispered. I caught the tear staining the earth before we left, bitter tribute to hopeless love. Poor girl. Should have known better than to poke this hornet's nest. Come here. Ethan suddenly crouched down. I glared at him and kept walking. I didn't sprain my ankle. A short chuckle rumbled from his chest as he pulled me back, forcefully hoisting me onto his back. Isn't it natural for me to carry you? Fine. It's not like he'll be the tired one anyway. My lips curved upward as I settled against him. He descended the mountain with steady, deliberate steps. So that day we reunited. You thought Emily was my fiancé? His sudden question hung in the crisp air. When I remained silent, he exhaled a soft laugh of understanding. Let me clarify everything at once. My parents did consider arranging marriage with Emily initially, but I refused immediately. After meeting you, any possibility with her vanished completely. She approached me because her father's company faced financial issues with a project purely business. There's only ever been you. The night chill did nothing to cool the heat rising to my cheeks. Why are you smiling while explaining? Ethan's voice deepened. Honestly, your apparent jealousy gives me this terrible satisfaction. But I won't tolerate even the shadow of misunderstanding between us. His words pressed against my ear. Lauren, I've loved you completely. Always. 5 years hadn't dulled the intensity of his directness. My heart lurched as if missing a step midair. After dropping me home, Ethan leaned against his car watching me approach the building. I pivoted abruptly, marching back to him. He tilted his head in question. What? I yanked his collar down, sealing our lips in a kiss that left us both breathless. Payment for carrying me down the mountain, I murmured, tracing his swollen lower lip. Dangerous hunger darkened his gaze. Before I could retreat, strong arms swept me off my feet. He texted his driver one-handed while cradling me. Put me down. Ethan's sharp brow arched. This payment's insufficient. His heated whisper skated along my neck. Invite me up. Some people truly test boundaries. Next morning, I fished my buzzing phone from beneath sheets dotted with love bites. Our friends had created a group chat excluding Ethan. Sophia, Ethan's gone mad, sent me red envelopes demanding future hiking invites. Ryan, G. Wonder why. At Lauren. Dozens of notifications bloomed. I lazily typed, maybe he reunited with his first love? Ryan, are we all just props in your lover's theater? Song XIN had grown smarter since my last warning. Knowing they'd egged my parents into harassing me, I figured these messes needed settling sooner or later. I deliberately chose a day to return home. Their faces lit up with surprise before twisting into scolding expressions. Their endless nagging about my absence filling the air. Crossing my legs on the sofa, my gaze drifted toward the balcony where the old army cot I'd once slept on now gathered dust in the corner. Following my line of sight, their expressions turned awkward. Well, you don't sleep here anymore anyway, they muttered. I smiled faintly, retrieving an envelope from my bag. This covers every penny you ever spent on me since childhood. Plus interest. Keep it. My mother's forced smile froze. When realization struck, her voice turned shrill. Lauren, are you trying to cut ties with us? Rising to my feet, I confirmed. Yes. Don't contact me again. You think blood bonds break that easily? Everyone will call you an ungrateful wretch once this gets out. Their threat almost made me laugh. Did you raise me for even a day? Without Grandma, I'd have starved. Let's not pretend we're some loving family here, we all know the truth. We're still your parents. We could sue you for abandonment. Brushing non-existent dust from my coat, I shrugged. Go ahead. Didn't Lauren tell you what I do for a living? Perfect opportunity to air how you favored her while neglecting me. Since Grandma died, I've had no family. Pausing at the doorway, I gave them one last smile. Take the money and lose a stranger you never cared about. But if you want to drag this out, how's that failing factory of yours holding up? I can afford a few hundred monthly support, let's see who tires first. My mother's enraged shrieks followed me out. Ungrateful snake. The sunlight felt particularly warm today. Emily's car idling outside my building surprised me. Since my vehicle was restricted today, I slid into her passenger seat and gave my office address. She snorted but started driving. I overheard your family drama, she said. Eyes on the road. The ground floor argument had carried easily. Adjusting the seat, I countered. And? Her laugh held no humor. As an influencer, you know the damage if they go public. Baffled, I turned. Think they're the only ones with a voice? I've spent decades being the perfect daughter, every acquaintance would vouch for my character. Why would a saint suddenly abandon her parents? The more they lie, the more sympathy I'll gain. Leaning back, I added. Besides, manipulating narratives is literally my job. Emily's smirk turned razor sharp. Remember, one stain ruins pristine paper. Villains get praised for crumbs of decency, while saints are crucified for single missteps. I studied her profile. Silent. It felt like we were back in those hot spring days years ago. Her tone still dripping with condescension. But I wasn't that powerless girl anymore. So what? I shrugged casually. I always plan 10 steps ahead. Every decision I make comes with contingency plans for the worst-case scenario. If I really wanted to make quick cash as an influencer, I wouldn't have pursued graduate studies abroad 5 years ago. Those years overseas had honed my expertise and built professional networks even Emily's family connections couldn't rival. My social media presence evolved from casual vlogs to substantive educational content. Even if forced offline by smear campaigns, my skills could thrive anywhere. I threw her own words back at her. If I were you, I'd focus on salvaging your family's crumbling business empire instead of obsessing over romantic rivals. As the car rolled to a stop, I waved my phone at her stunned expression. By the way, this time I recorded everything. If any damaging rumors surface online, I'll know exactly who to blame considering your track record. My smile turned sharp. Who knows what Ethan might do if his heartbroken girlfriend flees the country again? Emily's face flushed crimson. You're utterly shameless. Thank you. I slammed the car door. Later I learned Emily had intercepted Lauren's smear campaign after recognizing the dumped socialite's license plate that day. Her awkward approach was actually a warning. Not a threat, typical Emily. Allergic to sincerity. When I called her using Ethan's phone, her laugh sounded bitter. Consider this my peace offering. Begging you not to let Ethan dismantle what's left of our company. I can't control Ethan's business decisions, I said truthfully. But there's no reason for me to sabotage you either. Your schemes never actually harmed me. After a long pause came a quiet thank you. Here's my counter offer. I proposed. I'll never tell Ethan about your past manipulations. You'll remain his childhood sweetheart in memory. Consider it closure for your unrequited feelings. Her chuckle held unexpected warmth. Now I understand why Ethan chose you. Lauren. I'm sorry. Post-reconciliation, Ethan became my live and paradox corporate shark by day, domestic goddess by night. The man who once needed 3 alarms to wake now flawlessly balanced sourdough starters and stock portfolios. I observed his suspiciously perfect behavior from the couch. Out with it. What do you want? His lips trailed up my neck as hands wandered lower. My parents keep asking to meet my girlfriend. When I bit his shoulder in warning, he chuckled against my skin. Or not. No pressure. Fine. I'll meet them. Now let me shower. His triumphant grin followed me to the bathroom. They'll love you. Sweetheart. How could they not? His muscular arms scooped me up effortlessly. Let me help you wash up. The next day, Ethan drove me back to the Williams family estate. Surprisingly, every member of the Williams family treated me with genuine warmth. Dinner unfolded harmoniously, their conversation making me feel both comfortable and respected. Mrs. Williams even showed me Ethan's childhood photo albums. Each picture captured the same languid indifference. I couldn't suppress a chuckle. Honestly, Mrs. Williams sighed. If he didn't look so much like me, I'd swear they switched babies at the hospital. How can anyone be this lethargic? She leaned closer conspiratorially. We only considered arranged marriages to get him producing grandchildren sooner. Raising our heir ourselves seemed more reliable than waiting for him to take over. Her eyes softened with remembrance. Then he met you during college. Changed completely. That boy. A laugh escaped her. He declared he'd only take over the company to win you back. Threatened to move abroad permanently if we interfered. His father nearly had an aneurysm. She patted my hand. We're just grateful you tolerate him. Early retirement never looked so appealing. Suddenly, Ethan's laziness seemed less like genetic anomaly and more like strategic inheritance avoidance. Mrs. Williams pressed an exquisite jade bracelet into my palm. Lauren, you come to me for anything. Before I could refuse, Ethan's gaze locked on the jewelry box with peculiar intensity. What? I nudged. Nothing. His lips twitched despite himself. Just confirming Mom's priorities. I pinched his arm. Explain. Intertwining our fingers. He sighed dramatically. She binge-watched all your architecture videos. Concluded I'm only marginally redeemable because of our family name. His wounded expression collapsed into laughter. Swears she'd never choose someone like me if she were you. That's not. Admit it. He challenged. Ears flushing pink. You've got questionable taste. I silenced him with a kiss. I like what I like. Later. Sophia's message lit up our group chat. Frowny face. Why is Ethan sending me lucky money again? Ryan responded instantly. Frowny face. Weird flex as usual. Save screenshots. Epilogue. Ethan's perspective. After Lauren left for Paris, Ethan visited the Browns' apartment. He'd hoped to charm her parents, but their dismissive snipes about that girl chilled him. The cheerful woman he loved should have grown up surrounded by warmth, not sleeping on a fold-out cot in the laundry nook. That's... He stared at the makeshift bed. Mrs. Brown shrugged. We didn't see the point giving her a real room. She barely visited. The words hit like a sucker punch. Ethan's throat tightened as realization struck. Her radiant resilience wasn't in spite of this coldness, but because she'd never known anything else. Right then, he vowed to become the sanctuary she deserved. His heart constricted instantly, leaving him breathless. Ethan stiffly walked toward the balcony and found a blue note on the bedside table. My destiny lies among the stars. He could almost see Lauren lying on this bed countless nights, gazing at the starry dots in the pitch-black sky. What had she been thinking then? I'll earn mountains of money. Buy a big house where every room and every bed belongs to me. I'll leave this cramped balcony behind. Travel far away. See vaster skies. Ethan used to think she resembled a spinning top that never stopped. Not only did she flawlessly complete demanding errands, but she still found time to film videos celebrating life's beauty. Even after they started dating, he discovered she often studied past midnight. How much must one love the world to maintain such fervor? It struck him suddenly, not everyone could afford his privilege of carefree idleness. Did Lauren not want to rest? She simply couldn't stop. Didn't dare to stop. Ethan clenched his trembling hands until his knuckles whitened. His chest felt cemented shut. Each breath a Herculean effort. An indescribable ache spread through his ribcage. Acidic and suffocating. He pressed palms against his burning eyes, forever imprinting the sensation of heartbreak so acute it felt lethal. He didn't disturb Lauren again. Instead, he finally agreed to join the family business. Mrs. Williams gaped as if he'd been body snatched. My girlfriend dumped me for being lazy. He explained. I'll prove myself worthy through hard work. When I win her back, you'll treat her with utmost respect, not a single microaggression. Because I can't live without her. For 5 years. He dissected every word Lauren ever said. Those evasive replies and abruptly changed subjects revealed her unspoken doubts about their relationship. No matter. He'd systematically eliminate every obstacle. When Lauren conquered her starry ambitions, when she returned triumphant, Ethan would be waiting as the best version of himself, as if those 5 years apart were mere intermission. During their second autumn reunited, they road-tripped through Colorado, amidst a Siberian larch forest carpeted in amber needles, the air fragrant with pine resin and Lauren's fresh, clean scent. Ethan knelt on one knee. This entire trip had been orchestrated for this moment. His trembling fingers barely managed to slide the ring onto her left hand. She laughed through happy tears, breath-forming misty clouds as she tackled him in a hug. Let's visit my grandma sometime. Ethan's pulse roared in his ears. Absolutely. He rasped, clinging to her like dawn embracing night.